As a German journalist recently called it, the squaring of the Brexit circle has failed. London and Brussels don't know what to do in Northern Ireland. The frustrated pause could turn into a permanent state. Procrastination is a widespread disease. It also affects politicians. The UK and the EU see themselves in the position to deal with what is arguably the trickiest problem of Brexit only by postponing. What to do with Northern Ireland? This week, Boris Johnson's government has once again done something that the Brexit agreement would not allow them to do. Namely, they decided unilaterally to continue to suspend certain customs duties for goods deliveries from Great Britain to Northern Ireland, or better, the checks for those. The postponement is unlimited. Earlier this year, temporary postponements were enough for the EU Commission to initiate infringement proceedings against London. Now, they keep grumbling still and also wait. The Northern Ireland question has always been a key building site for Britain's exit from the EU. Nowhere else did popular slogans such as "take back control" and "get Brexit done" collide so strongly with the constraints of a complex reality, represented by the manifold customs bureaucracy. Both London and Brussels have now surrendered to reality. Remaining in this shaky state is easier for both parties than looking for a stable state that requires very uncomfortable concessions. Such pragmatism is rare with Brexit. Why is it? Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom but has been treated as a customs territory of the EU since the turn of the year. This will avoid checks on the land border between the north and the rest of Ireland, which would endanger the peace process on the island. In return, they are due between Great Britain and the north. The EU understandably wants to know which goods arrive in the northern part of the island, because from there they can be transported to the south and the EU internal market without any checks. Customs forms have to be filled out since January. This has already caused, let's say, considerable delivery problems. But from October, British companies would also have been required to submit health certificates for food exports to the north. This is very complex, expensive, and time-consuming. The import of some products, such as chilled meat, would even have been banned altogether. The tightening would have had a major impact on supplies, as Northern Irish supermarkets are often supplied from Great Britain. And from January 2022, the import of medicine would also become more difficult. Boris Johnson himself suggested this path to the EU in autumn 2019. That's why I always call it the Johnson Protocol. With his usual denial of the small print, Johnson put together the Brexit package that won him a huge victory in the next general election. The EU was aware of the problem, but it was up to the British to implement it. That gave Brussels a false sense of security. When the design flaws of his policy became apparent, Johnson just broke the Brexit agreement and with it international law. He calls for renegotiation. Such a bulldozer policy was not included in the legalistic, process-driven Brussels thinking. Theoretically, there is room for a solution, but in practice it's hardly achievable at the moment. Great Britain could just agree to comply with EU health standards. And that's fixed. Then a veterinary agreement would be possible, as it would make the food trade between Switzerland and the EU much easier. But under hardliner Johnson, this is not realistic for primarily ideological reasons. In return, the EU understandably does not want to renegotiate the Northern Ireland Johnson Protocol. Due to the British proximity and economic power, the alliance does not want to grant any major relief if London does not make major concessions. Those who are outside should feel that, according to the logic on the continent, and they don't care for British exceptionalism. The procrastination diffuses the conflict in its own way. The indefinite standstill gives the economy and the Northern Ireland more security than repeatedly postponing the deadlines for a few months. Negotiations are now officially being continued. Many more hot words and unrealistic suggestions from London will fly across the Sleeve Channel. But it would not be the first time in world politics that frustrated waiting has become a permanent condition that both sides can excuse as temporary. But from my personal point of view, there will be a point, because there has to be a point where the patience of the EU must be over. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.